person raised as a Jehovah's Witness has a unique way of thinking that is difficult for others to comprehend. The best way to understand how a witness thinks is to look at the information they receive as they develop and grow. Let's imagine a child called Matthew, born in 1960 to Jehovah's Witness parents. We can trace what he is taught to believe through the Watchtower in order to understand his view of life. Jehovah's Witnesses are directed by a governing body. A witness can only be understood by comprehending the power these leaders have over them. The governing body claim to be God's faithful and discreet slave, and that God uses them to dispense truth through the Watchtower. Matthew must follow information in the Watchtower as if it is from God.
Watchtower 2001. Have complete confidence in the truth as revealed by Jehovah through the faithful and discreet slave. Watchtower 2009. Since Jehovah and Jesus completely trust the faithful and discreet slave, should we not do the same?
As a child, one of the first things Matthew learns is Jehovah alone is God. Since only Jehovah's Witnesses worship Jehovah, only they will survive Armageddon.
Watchtower 1965. We are either for Jehovah God or for the gods of this world. Your decision means life or death for you. With Armageddon staring us in the face, billions of lives may shortly come to a swift and decisive end.
As a child, I used to have nightmares of falling down an earthquake.
Dead bodies and body parts of the wicked will lie strewn on the surface of the ground, in streets, alleyways, fields, and buildings. We will not be traumatized by his mass annihilation of these individuals. We will react to it today as we do when a vicious serial murderer is executed. How do you feel about him when he gets it? Why, we will feel an inner satisfaction. Our indignation has been appeased.
Children will die with their parents.
At Armageddon, children will suffer for the failure of their parents.
So Matthew preaches to save them.
When you work in the field service with your children, do you see that they have a part?
As a minor in his teens, Matthew will be encouraged to be baptized.
At 12 and a half years of age, Dustin was baptized.
Basis of the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, have you repented of your sins and dedicated yourself to Jehovah to do His will? And the second question, do you understand that your dedication and baptism identify you as one of Jehovah's Witnesses in association with His Spirit-directed organization?
Matthew is taught Armageddon is about to happen.
Watchtower 1968. They expect it to come at any hour, and almost certainly within the next 10 years.
Matthew is told he will never finish school, never fulfill a career, never grow old.
Awake 1968. Only a few years remain before the corrupt system is destroyed by God. 1969. If you are a young person, you will never grow old in this present system of things. Kingdom Ministry 1974. Reports are heard of brothers selling their homes and property and planning to finish out the rest of their days in this old system in the pioneer service. Certainly this is a fine way to spend the short time remaining before the wicked world's end.
As one brother put it, stay alive to 75.
Matthew is told he will never die. Never die?
Millions are now learning of the wonderful opportunity of keeping on living upon the earth without ever dying.
Despite destroying billions of people, God will save witnesses and allow them to live forever.
They'll run screaming out of their houses with this striking them, and yet they'll see Jehovah's Witnesses run touch.
How can a person be convinced that God will soon murder billions of people, but that they are so special as to never die? By belonging to a law-driven group with a unique set of rules to set them apart from others. Matthew is repeatedly told witnesses are unique.
Only Jehovah's Witnesses are no part of the world, demonstrate love, do the work that Jesus foretold, and are the happiest people on earth. Jehovah's servants are the most loving, united, peaceful, law-abiding people on earth.
He will be warned against those around him and told normal, healthy activities are wrong.
Satanic air breathed by the world today permeates every aspect of life outside Jehovah's organization. We must guard against association with worldly people. Birthdays, Christmas, Easter, Halloween, All Saints' Day, New Year's Day, Valentine's Day, May Day, Mother's Day. The School in Jehovah's Witnesses brochure states, "We appreciate it very much when teachers excuse our children from participation in all activities that in any way commemorate these holidays." Witness parents feel schools overemphasize sports. Participation would expose witness youths to unwholesome associations.
Bend over.
Awake 1979. The essence of disco is free, liberated sexual expression. Satan uses the world's entertainment in his efforts to turn people from true worship. 1984. Dancing has often been done in a way so as to arouse sexual passions and to lead people into sexual immorality. Therefore, favor home gatherings with whole families present.
Sex is used as a source of guilt, even masturbation.
Your youth getting the best out of it. The real question is not how much physical harm could result from masturbation, but whether spiritual harm results. To help to avoid sexual tension, sleep on your side rather than on your back or face down. See to it that your clothing does not cause friction with the sexual organs. In fact, masturbation can lead into homosexuality. Contrary to what many persons think, homosexuals are not born that way, but their homosexual behavior is learned.
I'm sorry.
Watchtower 1967. Those who devote themselves to getting a higher education usually want to be able to enjoy the rest of the things that money can buy. 1989. The time left is reduced. Would 4 years or more in a university be the best use of that remaining time?
Rather, volunteer labour to grow the organisation is promoted.
In the early years, put before your children theocratic goals, pioneering, Bethel service, or missionary work.
It's the 1980s and Matthew has reached his 20s. He was assured he would never leave school. Now he has a job and considers starting a family. Even that is discussed.
Christians ask themselves how getting married or having children will affect their share in that vital work.
Fortunately, most ignore that advice. Matthew may start having doubts, but is told this comes from the devil.
The devil is ready to sow seeds of doubt.
If Matthew discusses his doubts, he risks being disfellowshipped and shunned as an apostate by family and friends.
When a Christian has to be disfellowshipped, he forfeits much: his approved standing with God, sweet fellowship with brothers, including much of the association he had with relatives. It might be possible to have almost no contact at all with a disfellowshipped relative. Even if there were some family matters requiring contact, this certainly would be kept to a minimum.
That can be the start of a spiral into depression, living an unwanted life out of fear of loss. loss of family, loss of friends, loss of identity and belief. It is 2010 and Matthew is now 50. Some may say the Watchtower has changed. But the Watchtower still directs to shun loved ones.
Is strict avoidance really necessary? Yes. Loyal Christian family members do not look for excuses to have dealings with a disfellowshipped relative.
Still discourages university.
Watchtower 2008. Many who pursue university end up with their minds filled with harmful propaganda. Such education wastes valuable youthful years that could be used in Jehovah's service. A Christian trusts in Jehovah. What will be the end afterward if a well-intentioned teacher urges you to pursue higher education at a university?
Are still told they won't grow old.
Those blessed with a lasting place in the new earth will not grow old and inevitably die.
From its inception in the 1800s, the Watchtower has said the world is about to end. It was supposed to end in 1914.
We consider it an established truth that the final end of the kingdoms of this world will be accomplished 1914.
And soon thereafter ever since.
Watchtower 1941. The remaining months before Armageddon.
100 years later, witnesses are still told it will be soon, in the next few years.
Watchtower 2006. Soon, God will rock the nations at Armageddon.
For how much longer will Jehovah's Witnesses continue to be misled to believe the fantasy that they will never die? We have seen the Watchtower has a strong emphasis on eschatology and attempts to differentiate itself through excessive use of rules. A religion that enforces shunning of family members violates the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which states in Article 12, "No one shall be subjected to arbitrary interference with his privacy, family, home, or correspondence, nor to attacks upon his honour and reputation." Although I am averse to suggesting governments encroach on freedom of choice, there should be sanctions when religions encourage breaking the law. More importantly, the education system needs to teach critical thinking skills so humans learn to be less vulnerable to manipulation, be it by politics, corporations, or religion. That witnesses are so gullible as to believe their religion is the only truth, despite its false predictions of the world's end and ongoing contradictory changes, is a shameful reflection on the intellectual capabilities of humans and shows how badly our education system still fails. I look forward to the ongoing progression of human rights through dissemination of information now widely available through medium such as the internet.
You will be spreading your wings, you will be looking down and always surround.